Mighty Radio.
Hello, then welcome all to this brand new edition of 5-Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me is my co-host Albert. Seated on the phone from the East Coast is Guillermo. Seated, gentlemen, how's it going?
Bandera. Can you tell I'm pumped for Yari Rodriguez?
Versus BJ Penn. Yeah, that's good. We're going to talk about that later on in today's show, but we got a lot to talk about. We got Conor McGregor being robbed of his gold. A man was robbed yesterday on Saturday night, everybody, and America's still not reacting to it. Conor McGregor has been, well, according to UFC, relinquished his UFC featherweight championship. We're going to talk about that, talk about the light heavyweight division, if it's a shadow of its former self, talk about Robert Whittaker and the new threat in the middleweight division, and all a bunch of good stuff. So let's get started with round number one. Albert, do you have a timer on you?
I do not have a timer. I'm very unprofessional today.
Well, let's go. You know what? We're going to do a little small chat. Guillermo, how's it going in Orlando?
You know what? I'm barely getting back to the area. I was in Atlanta for Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm barely driving back.
Atlanta? What are you doing in Atlanta, bro?
Speaking about Atlanta, if you didn't check out the new series Atlanta on FX, you missed out. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Go check it out.
Is there a lot of zombie culture in Atlanta because The Walking Dead's filmed there?
That one has nothing to do with zombies.
You know what? I didn't see anything regarding The Walking Dead.
You didn't see a big old statue of Rick?
They're not proud of the filming Georgia at every damn episode of The Walking Dead. All right, so let's get started with round number one. Ring that bell. Saturday night it was announced that Conor McGregor has relinquished, quote unquote, his featherweight championship. Jose Aldo will now be promoted to the new champion of the featherweight division after he beat Frank Yeager at UFC 200 for the interim title. And now Anthony Pettis versus Max Holloway will be for the interim featherweight title at UFC 206.
So much interim.
Interim. Thought about this. Thoughts and reactions when you guys first heard this news.
Well,
I thought it was a sigh of relief for everybody in the featherweight division. I'm pretty sure they're just sick and tired of being held up to see where they were in the pecking order of things. But I think now it's a little bit more stabilized, and I feel like about time. That was my reaction.
Albert.
I kind of saw the big picture to this.
Well, it's been over a year since McGregor. No, almost a year since McGregor defeated Jose Aldo. UFC 194 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and not just that, but if you remember, Jose Aldo is still on the line with signing, and even if he wants to continue fighting. And I think this is just a big setup, like saying, like, look, we stripped Conor McGregor of his belt, and Jose Aldo, if you want to keep up with your little antics,
he relinquished his title.
We'll relinquish. we'll take away your title, and guess what? Whoever wins between Max Holloway and Anthony Pettis will become the unified champion.
So Conor McGregor's not the only victim here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I think this is also
Jose Aldo's also a victim here.
I think Jose Aldo. It's a shot to Jose Aldo saying, like, look, bro, either you're gonna play ball right now, or else we're gonna move forward too.
Hey, well, Guillermo, doesn't it have to hurt Aldo's legacy as well? Like, hey, well, you're now the new champion after not defeating the current champion. I mean, people are taking shots of him already. There's already memes saying to be the champ, you got to beat the champ unless you're Jose Aldo. So what's this do to his legacy? Is it another shot from the UFC, jabbing at Jose Aldo?
You know what? I think so. I mean, like, the person that, like, in terms of, like, legacy, it hurts the most is Jose Aldo because he can't reprove himself as the greatest featherweight in the world because he doesn't have Conor McGregor in the same division.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go up to lightweight to kind of, I don't know, because to me it feels like his legacy has been damaged, and to only make it legitimate is for him to move up in weight class. I wanted to wait for a little bit longer to talk about Conor McGregor leaving it.
Yeah.
But my feeling is that the featherweight division is back to where it was before Conor McGregor even showed up in that division, like started going on this hot streak. So that just shows you either two things: how weak the featherweight division is, or was this guy really above their league? You know what I mean? Because he cleared it, and now Jose Aldo's the champion again, and it's pretty much back to Chad Mendes versus Jose Aldo.
Well, technically,
Anthony Pettis is slowly rising, and Max But remember, before Conor McGregor showed up, Max Holloway was streaking as well. So it's back to the same.
But no, we had this conversation earlier about who really cleared it out. Between Jose Aldo and Chad Mendes, they pretty much cleared out the featherweight division. And the fact that McGregor beat both Mendes and Aldo, he has all those wins in the back pocket. But I mean, you really think McGregor run the gauntlet of Ricardo Lamas, Dennis Bermudez, Max Holloway, and Anthony Pettis now?
Well, that's tough to say, but I mean, it's easy to see because as long as Jose Aldo remains the champion there, it just proves to us how much Conor McGregor didn't need to face those guys. Because if Jose Aldo is able to dismantle and stay reigning champion for multiple years, and Conor McGregor made work with them in 13 seconds, I mean, more power to Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah. So I think also it needs to be pointed out too before we finish up this round is that this is almost this whole situation was due to the UFC stretching itself too thin with so many events nowadays. So UFC 206 was supposed to be main evented by Daniel Cormier and Anthony Rumble Johnson for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. DC tears a muscle in his groin. That fight's completely pulled from the card. Now they're stuck with a pay-per-view without a championship main event. They're kind of scrambling. So, hey, let's make Pettis versus Holloway for the interim featherweight title. How much is that to blame, Albert? DC getting hurt. If DC didn't get hurt, would Conor McGregor still be featherweight champion right now?
It's funny because when I first saw the card, I felt like maybe they should have added one more big fight in there that kind of keep it safe. But just to let you know that Gregor Mousasi was willing to take the fight against Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Yeah.
And Anthony Rumble Johnson was the one that backed out.
I think even Tim Kennedy offered too his services as well. So, but why risk a title shot?
But I think when it comes to pay-per-view, they can't really risk it.
Yeah.
I think they really should just for now on, every pay-per-view should be either 2 titles in there or 3 huge matches.
Yeah. Hey, Guillermo, so real quick, if DC didn't get hurt, is McGregor still the featherweight champion?
Does it hurt that he's still the featherweight champion?
No, if DC didn't get hurt, is McGregor still the featherweight champion?
Will they even do the interim bout?
Because you kind of see the chain reaction here, right? No, there was no talk of DC getting McGregor getting stripped until DC got hurt, and the UFC scrambled for a worthy main event for a pay-per-view.
I mean, you're talking about maybe a month or 2 more of the featherweight champion. Then I still think that it was inevitable of him being relinquished to the featherweight championship.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for round number 1. We're gonna come back and run round number 2 and talk about the UFC light heavyweight division. See the state of the light heavyweight address. So don't go anywhere. Hey, but before we do that, I forgot. I want to talk about one of our clothing lines. One of our big sponsors, our clothing line, FiveRounds.clothing. FiveRoundsMMA offers a unique collection of MMA apparel and accessories. They incorporate the culture, style, and attitude of MMA in their clothing line. They're consistently evolving and improving to become the best fightwear company possible in the MMA world. They make the fighter and fight fan look good. Check out their line of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and other great accessories at FiveRounds.clothing, and on Twitter at FiveRoundswear, and Instagram at FiveRounds_5rounds. Get it on. Don't go to round number 2 come next. Welcome back. Time for round number 2. So Daniel Cormier is hurt once again, or I don't know. For me, so UFC 206, the main event scrap. There's no light heavyweight title to be defended. It's going to be postponed to probably after the new year. I want to know what happened to the UFC's light heavyweight division, guys. This was, I think, it's still the most prestigious title in the UFC. The biggest stars in the company, in the history of the organization, I think the company was built on this division. By this division, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, got Forrest Griffin, all these guys on there. Ken Shamrock bounced between this and heavyweight. Frank Shamrock, this division, and I think it's a shell of its former self, guys. I think it's not what it used to be. There aren't any contenders in there. All the guys are kind of older. Am I wrong here? Am I being overdramatic, or is this one of the worst divisions in the UFC right now?
Not only are you right, I can tell you exactly what happened. When when John Bone Jones went on his tear, I think a lot of people started looking at 186 division. Now we see 186 being a little bit more stacked.
185.
185. We saw Rashad Evans trying to make the move there. Machida made the move there.
Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort made the move there. And I think future people would rather go to the 185 or maybe even go heavyweight and avoid the light.
205?
Yeah, 205 because of John Jones and how dominant he was. And it's that true that I really do think that's what happened. The only people that were left, the people that either couldn't go down to 185 or have found somewhat success, like Ryan Bader, who can beat the bottom tier of that bracket, was able to stay there. While like Leon Machida had to keep there was only one option for that guy because he kept beating the top tier. It was beating John Jones, and it didn't seem like he was.
I mean, as of right now, this division consisted of DC, Rumble Johnson, Ryan Bader, and Glover Teixeira, right? And Gustafsson, I don't know where. Gustafsson somewhere in Europe somewhere.
Knows, yeah. We were hoping for Ivan St. Pierre.
Yeah,
to be,
he just got beat. He just got beat by John Jones. Hey, so Gabriel, what do you think the light heavy division is at where it's at right now?
I think part of the reason is there's no money fights. To be honest, so if I'm a fighter and I'm like on the borderline 185 and 205, the money fights are at the 185 division. At 205, you're taking a very, very, very risk fight and not getting as much money out of it because there's not attractive names, I would say, of star power. I mean, you're talking about John Jones is the only one everybody's gunning for, but he cleared the division. Same thing. What happened when Anderson Silva was reigning? We felt like the middleweight disappeared off the face of the planet, and I think it's the same thing. And eventually, slowly, I think the 205 will regain some star power. But until I guess there's more sexy names, is the term that comes to my head, and more money fights. I think that until we get that, we won't be really seeing a real rise in the 205.
Yeah, I think the big problem is too it's like the heavyweight division where everyone has beat each other, so it's hard to really have a standout. Like so and so beat so and so, so and so beat so and so. I mean, Shogun Hua is still in the top 10. So. Read
the top 10 real quick. Read the top 10.
Quick. We got number 1, Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Yeah.
Alexander Gustafsson still number 2. Glover Teixeira 3. Ryan Bader 4. Jimmy Manuwa 5. Ivan St. Pierre 6. Shogun Hua 7. Nikita Krylov 8. And Corey Anderson 9. And then rounding up is Little Nog.
Okay, yeah.
Little Nog.
That's one of the worst divisions in the UFC. So, I mean, obviously,
coming off of a loss.
Yeah, John Jones is lots of cases. He cleared out the division. Also, his antics outside of the octagon kind of pushed back any big time fights in that division. Also, Gamma, do you think the new PED testing kind of hurt people as well? Like, okay, well, if I can't put on 205 of muscle, I'll put on 185 of muscle. You think that's something to do with it as well?
You know what? I don't think that has nothing to do with anything. I think people are just more attracted to that 185 because one, there's a little bit more of star power, and there's a better chance of actually winning the UFC belt at middleweight, even though there's really, really high competition at that weight class compared to 205. I mean, I just don't see anybody beating John Jones, DC, or Anthony Rumble Johnson, anybody below the top 3.
Yeah, and then DC's already in his mid to late 30s already, so he has a couple years left, and man, this division's in trouble. I think this division's in trouble. As long as John Jones is around, this division's in trouble.
I really feel some of these guys should play with that 205 weight. I mean, Gregor Mousasi has fought in light heavyweight, and I think he's done really good in light heavyweight.
Yeah.
So that would be cool if he can. If they would have allowed him to fight against Roman Jones would have that fight, I think that would have been an awesome thing. And then even Tim Kennedy is probably better off just going at 205. Some of these guys should just test the waters because why not?
Yeah. So that's it for round number 2. We'll see what the future has in store for the UFC's light heavy division. I think it all kind of rests on John Jones' shoulders whenever he comes back, whenever he decides to do.
Can I make one last point?
Yeah.
I was going to say it sucks to see DC hurt, but I think this is an actual good thing for the 205 because if you postpone that fight, it actually allows the 205 rest of the division to kind of catch up for us to at least think long term after this fight between DC and Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for round number 2. Before we do that, I want to talk about one of our great sponsors at Rockin Green. Rockin Green is a award-winning manufacturer of eco-friendly cleaning products designed to make cleaning easier and greener. They are the best laundry detergents and all-natural cleaners because they are made with biodegradable plant-based ingredients. They're spectic and gray water safe, and they're never tested on animals. Please visit rockingreen.com for more information and follow them on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So rockingreen.com, all the good stuff. So don't go in for round number 3 is coming up. All right, welcome back. Time for round number 3. There is a new threat in the UFC's middleweight division, and his name is Robert Whittaker. He defeated Derek Brunson in the first round in kind of a sloppy fight, I thought, in UFC Fight Night in Melbourne, Australia, on Saturday or on Sunday if you were in Australia. Robert Whittaker's now, 5-0 in the middleweight division?
Yeah.
He was ranked number 7 coming in. I think he should be at least top 5 now. Guillermo, Robert Whittaker, thoughts? Where's this kid going? Only 25 years old. Where's he going? All the way to the top?
You know what? This guy is going all the way to the top. But I mean, he's knocking on the door now. I mean, the fight that I see now is Gegard Mousasi versus Robert Whittaker. I felt like Gegard Mousasi was looking for somebody. I heard rumors that the only logical matchup was Anderson Silva because everybody else in the top of the middleweight division is booked. But this Robert Whittaker versus Gegard Mousasi, you're talking about an elimination match to see who can enter that elite class. I think whoever wins that, you can pin them against a number 1 contender fight after that.
Well, because as of right now, we got strong rumor, Yoel Romero versus Michael Bisping for the title, right? And then we got Jacare versus Rockhold, number 2, still rumored to go on, even though Rockhold's hurt. And then we got. And then you're saying Mousasi versus Whittaker, so that's another 4-man tournament for the for the title again.
Yeah, not really, because I think the winner out of Gegard Mousasi versus
Whittaker,
Robert Whittaker, and this is again hypothetical.
Yeah,
would face possibly either a loser or a winner from that top 4 that you mentioned, which is Yoel Romero, Michael Bisping, or Gegard Mousasi. Jacare and Rockhold.
What about Tim Kennedy, people? The guy doesn't have no fights.
Well, he's fighting Kevin Gastelum, so...
what do you call it? Real quick, though.
Yeah, your thoughts on this, Albert, yeah.
I didn't want to say this, though. I don't mind them using Vitor Belfort versus one of these up-and-coming guys.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like that should be the role now. I mean, yeah, Vitor's pretty much done, but I think he still has value. Imagine if Vitor versus Robert Whittaker.
I'd watch that.
If Vitor wins... he expands his career. Think about it. If Robert wins, it's probably the biggest win he's ever going to get.
Yeah.
Right now,
anyways.
Right now, at least. And then that might even put him up in the top 5. With that said, though, he's one of the very few guys that went up a weight class and found success. Because his last loss was against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at 170.
Yeah.
And then he moved up. And he actually looked way better.
He looks good at 185. Doesn't look
which is crazy to me. When you move up, you look better. So
yeah.
With that said, though, I think someone like Vitor will really benefit him.
Yeah, and Derek Brunson was a strange gameplay. He was just running straight at Robert Whittaker with his chest and chin out.
Like he was running with his head down, charging in.
Makes you wonder because obviously Derek Brunson's a good fighter, smart fighter, but maybe he just got hyped up. Maybe he just wanted a quick knockout, make a statement. And he just went, literally, he went chin first right at him, and then, Robert Whittaker made him pay. But I think as much as we want to play these fancy matchups in the middleweight division, as long as Michael Bisping's champion, he gets to call the shots more than, I don't know why, but who knows? He may, you know what, I want to fight Vitor Belfort next. So let's do that next. Even though guys like Robert Whittaker and Gegard Mousasi are tearing up the division, as long as Bisping's champion, he's going to pick and choose who he fights. He might even call, Hoist Gracie out of retirement for all we know. But is that kind of true, Gabby? You think we're all at the mercy of Bisping here?
I don't think we're mercy of Bisping. I just think the middleweight has so much potential matches that we don't need Michael Bisping. I mean, yeah, he's the belt holder in that division, but there's very attractive names for big money fights. So I think you can get away from Michael Bisping. You can still set up a real big money fight with Robert Whittaker. Let's say Luke Rockhold still remains hurt against Jacare. I think that would be a freaking great main event.
Yeah, I also think the reaction yesterday in Australia, that place, the roof blew off. So I think if the UFC wants to protect him, because they go to Australia but once or twice a year, right? Mm-hmm. So they have a star now where they could showcase. It was Mark Hunt before, and then James Tuhuna kind of had that, and so Peletti. But man, if they want to protect Robert Whittaker. Kid's only 25 years old. Whenever they go to Australia, he could sell at arenas, if they want to. So
Vitor Anderson.
Yeah.
Imagine that Vitor Anderson in Australia.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. So that's it for round number 3. We're gonna come back, take a small break, and then enter the championship rounds. But when we do that, I want to talk about one of our great sponsors in Redemption Martial Arts. Redemption Martial Arts is a nonprofit organization with the primary goal of bringing awareness to bullying and providing people with accessible resources and training to help them combat bullying confrontations. The RMA team consists of individuals from all walks of life who share a common passion for making a difference and serving as anti-bullying activists, all of whom have been affected by bullying at one point in their lives. Some of them have been bullied, others have reformed bullies, or simply just people just want to help out. If you're interested in being a member of Team RMA and want more information, please visit redemptionmartialarts.com. Redemptionmartialarts.com. Rise up against bullying. Take a small break and enter the championship rounds. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to enter the championship rounds. Let's start with round number 4. We'll take a break from what's kind of current here and talk about a fight that's announced for coming up in January, UFC Fight Night, I think in Texas. Anyway, main event's going to be BJ Penn against El Pantera Yari Rodriguez. This is interesting for us because we're obviously big fans of Rodriguez, and our friend Jason Hendricks is probably the biggest BJ Penn mark out there. But this is an interesting matchup for BJ Penn.
Phoenix, Arizona.
If you guys know the style of Rodriguez, he is constantly moving up and down his feet. If you thought Machida was moving around a lot, or Steve Wonder, he's like almost a mix of Machida and Wonder Boy, right? Just the way he kind of...
And then he's Mexican at that? You got me sold.
So what I want to know is the UFC trying to retire BJ Penn here on purpose, Guillermo?
No, you know what? Albert said the same thing about Vitor Belfort.
Yeah.
I think if BJ Penn wins this, he resurrects his career.
Yeah.
BJ Penn has
If Rodriguez
3
wins,
losses,
it's a
bro.
stepping stone.
Yeah.
If Rodriguez wins, it's a stepping stone towards the title. And I think there's only 2 sexy names at the featherweight division that would attract Conor McGregor, and everybody knows that Mexicans sell that for and sell on pay-per-views. Come on, Rodriguez, names ever come down to 145.
So you're saying they're going to bust a Canelo Alvarez here and kind of hype up the Mexican fighter and try and get like like the Mexican audiences in the United States, or what?
Well, I think we saw with Cain Velasquez that he had an attractive pay-per-view sell and sell-out star.
Yeah, so, Albert,
The other things we have to take into consideration here. This bout's taking place at 145.
Yeah.
Remember the last time we saw BJ Penn at 145?
Well, he's a featherweight now.
He embarrassed himself against Frankie Edgar.
He's not even trying. Well, because remember, after he beat Frankie Edgar, he took a long break and then came back. He was supposed to fight Dennis Seaver, but Seaver got hurt. Then it was Cole Miller at UFC 189. Then BJ Penn got hurt, or the whole IV thing, or something. He got pulled from the card. I don't remember what it was. And then he was scheduled to fight Ricardo Lamas, but he got hurt in October. So he's at 145. He's training for 145. So
I just... The weight class alone is a red flag to me, and the fact that you're a hot fighter right now like Yari, that's just a brewing for trouble. Keep in mind, even though like the last performance we saw Rodriguez in was a split decision.
It was a great fight though.
It was still a really, really good fight.
With Bruce Leroy, who's no slouch either. So
it was a wonderful stand-up bout.
Yeah.
But I just don't see BJ Penn. But if he comes with that stand-up again against Rodriguez, it's gonna be a short night for BJ.
I mean, obviously, like you said, Guillermo, this is a good stepping stone for Rodriguez because he's actually in the main event. This is be his second card in a row with in the main event. So the UFC does see something in him, right? Guillermo, you there? No? We lost him. So, but this is back-to-back main events for Yari Rodriguez. So, see, his style is unique and different. The fact that he has a Mexican heritage is pretty well articulate. So, Eric Perez.
Phoenix, Arizona, so you know that thing's going to be
so the UFC is desperate they can't rely on Cain Velasquez anymore, so they need...
Kevin Gastelum can't make weight.
No.
Like you said.
Cain Velasquez is always hurt. Diego Sanchez is on his way.
That time.
Yeah. Eric Perez has knee surgery.
Knee surgery. And this guy's hot right now. I mean, since he's entering the UFC, he doesn't know what a loss is.
Yeah.
And he's had exciting fights. He had one vicious KO in there.
Yeah.
So why not? He's 9-1, so he's still early on in his career. But I think it's amazing.
So they're trying to peg their next star. Guillermo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right here.
All right. So did you hear? Is the UFC trying to mold Rodriguez into the next big Mexican star?
I think so. I mean, like
Back-to-back main events. Back-to-back main events here.
I think they're exposing him to the mass media, especially around here. I mean, like, look at Robert Whittaker. It was on
In Australia.
On Fight Pass.
Yeah.
And Australia at a weird time. We didn't get a chance to really see him compared to Yair Rodriguez. It's on the not Fight Pass. It's on FS1, right?
Yeah.
From what I saw. FS1, and I think it's in the United States. So I think they're trying to market him to see if he's going to be a big hit.
Yeah, he's going to be in Phoenix, strong.
And the thing is, how's he ranked so high, yet we haven't seen those big victories yet. You know, he's slowly being fed to us, and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
What I think is real cool is we have Conor McGregor, 28 years old, the champion. We have Robert Whittaker, who just won the other day, who is 25. We have Rodriguez, who's 24. So it's looking very healthy for the UFC.
The young guys are starting to come up.
For the span of the next
as
years.
the little Nogs are getting pushed out, and the Vitor Belforts and the Dan Hendersons, these younger guys who 20, 25 to 30 years old are starting to come up now. It should be a fun time. So that's it for round number 4. We'll see what we'll see if BJ Penn even makes a fight, because he hasn't so far. All these fights he announced for me, he doesn't even make it. So hopefully he doesn't make it. Be a great matchup for both guys. So that's it for round number 4. We're gonna come back and end the show with who other than Conor McGregor. We're going to go back into this whole featherweight championship debacle. All right, welcome back. Time for the 5th and final round. So let's kind of circle back around and talk about this UFC stripping Conor McGregor of the featherweight championship, or to quote unquote, he relinquished the title.
Which I doubt it.
Yeah, so I think to me, there was more to be done for this, like more press conferences, more television interviews. Do you think maybe the fact that he wants to be part of the UFC's ownership that hurt him, or do you think it's just because strictly they needed a pay-per-view?
No,
but why? What was the motivation for it? I know Dana White said this is the plan all along.
To save the pay-per-view,
especially
with the new ownership, you don't want to start canceling shows again.
Yeah,
there's only been a handful of shows that had been canceled, and BJ Penn was one of the shows that they canceled with under the new ownership, and I think they don't want to show that. So I think it was a desperate move by the UFC that they thought was to save the pay-per-view. But at the same time, I think this benefits Conor McGregor. Because I think it's going to hype everything more. Let these guys beat themselves out. Conor doesn't have to go and clean up the division. The division will clean itself. Let's say Max Holloway becomes the new champion, beats Anthony Pettis and Jose Aldo. Guess what? All Conor McGregor has to do is come back, face Max Holloway, and boom, he's back on top. or if it's the other way around, Anthony Pettis or even Jose Aldo, you got the rematch there, which it's going to be money.
Yeah.
So if anything, I think Conor McGregor is benefiting from his title getting relinquished.
So the fact that he never defended his featherweight championship once doesn't hurt anybody. Doesn't hurt him at all.
I don't think so, because if he just goes and if he can beat the whoever comes out of this whole
now he's a 2-time featherweight champion.
Yeah. it sounds better, Wait,
two-time featherweight champion.
He's the 2-time, It just sounds way better. It benefits. Look, it's just going to benefit him even more.
Hey, Guillermo. So let's say if out of the 3, Aldo, Pettis, and Holloway, will they be given the opportunity to jump up to lightweight and challenge McGregor, or is that just strictly because Conor's a man, he does whatever he wants, and he has Dana White and the UFC bent over backwards, he does whatever he wants?
Well, I think it's Conor McGregor's card, whatever he wants to do. If he wants to face these guys at 155, it's up to him.
Yeah.
I don't think Jose Aldo's going to be given the opportunity unless it's kind of like you need a change of scenery, or same thing with Anthony Pettis, a change of scenery back to 155 or something like that. I don't think. And I couldn't agree more with Albert. I think this is the biggest benefit of Conor McGregor, because he never lost the belt.
Yeah.
They had to relinquish it because he can't be fighting two people at the same time. That's the thing. So, in worst case scenario, he loses at 155. He can always talk his way. Hey, I never lost the belt at 145. Give me a championship match immediately right now. Next
I can already see the posters and the banners. The King returns.
Yeah.
The return of the King. It just, if anything, it just pushes the marketing of Conor McGregor more. All I see is, it's funny how no matter the situation, it almost feels like Conor always comes up on top.
Yeah, so like McGregor diehard shouldn't be upset about this. You guys are saying, right?
No, if anything, they should be drooling that the King's gonna return one day and regain his Iron Throne. So
best case scenario for this division is that Anthony Pettis or Max Holloway defeat Jose Aldo. That way, it completely washes Conor McGregor out of there. Because obviously, if Jose Aldo defeats Pettis or Holloway, there's still that stigma if he got knocked out by Conor McGregor in 13 seconds, and the featherweight champion is walking around with a knockout loss on his record.
Yeah, and I honestly think that the best scenario that can happen here is Max Holloway winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because even Anthony Pettis
has
lost some steam
on right?
his name. Yeah. And technically, Max Holloway went the distance with Conor McGregor, despite the injury or not. He went the distance. So the better story is with Max Holloway. He's the younger fighter, and I think he's the one that I think will essentially bring the bigger money fight. I think by default people might think Jose Aldo, but you can't get rid of, like you said, that 13-second knockout.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so hard to
you can't take him seriously.
But Max Holloway, how good can you sum him? I took him to the distance. We went to the full.
Yeah.
I couldn't disagree more now with Albert. I think Max Holloway is not a sexy name whatsoever.
Max Holloway not sexy, bro.
He'll be sexy if he beats Pettis and Aldo.
Yeah, I think Pettis is the sexiest name you can. This guy was on the box of Wheaties. He's
honestly, yeah.
You're doing actual sexy, Guillermo. When you're not doing sexy name, you're going for actual.
It's that swag. That's what it is. It's that fresh fade. It's the gold chains. It's a gold watch. It's that swag.
And like I said, the other sexy name is Rodriguez, which we talked about earlier in the podcast. Those are the only two names. Were Conor McGregor even coming down to 145? To be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the fact that Anthony Pettis lost 3 times in the lightweight division, I think that just kills the steam of it. Yeah, sure, he had a awesome debut in featherweight, but I think the lightweight losses actually hurt him when it comes to actually trying to sell it to the fans and that sexy name. No, because in lightweight he got beat 3 times, and one of the guys that beat him is the guy that Conor McGregor destroyed.
Yeah, and then we're forgetting about Frankie Edgar out there, guys, coming off one against Jeremy Stevens. Come on. But
Jose Aldo.
Yeah, so I mean, leave it to the UFC to keep the fans guessing and speculating what's going to happen in the future. I mean, this is a big announcement. It involves the biggest star, Conor McGregor. So we'll see how the future pans out. That's it for this week's show. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to one of our great friends and partners over at FightBookMMA. FightBookMMA.com is the only place where you can find real combat sports news from all over the world. A website you can trust with accurate news from MMA, kickboxing, boxing, and from local promotions to all the major ones like UFC, Bellator, World Series of Fighting, all the stuff from Golden Boy Promotions, the boxing for your boxing fans out there, Lion Fight from Muay Thai out there. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's in FightBookMMA.com. They have a great podcast page as well with other great MMA podcasts and combat sports shows. We're on there, so it's FightBookMMA.com. Go check it out. And when you're surfing the web, make sure you follow us at Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. Albert, what do you got?
I just want to say, I know we didn't mention it in the show, but next week's fights, I think the stackness is there.
Yeah.
We're going to get Demetrius Johnson, Joseph Benavidez versus
Cejudo.
And then you even got an up-and-coming featherweight up there is Brandon Moreno. No, yeah, he's a flyweight, sorry. Yeah. Brandon Moreno, who won his last bout because he actually lost first in the tournament, but he got to fight.
Because it's like stepping, right? Yeah, he's standing, yeah.
And now he gets to fight again, so that's another Mexican star on the rise. And thanks, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, the cream of the crop.
You are now listening to FRMMA Radio.